we on?
Hello, folks. What's going on, world? Instagram, Facebook, and the rest of you people. How's it going this evening? Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast, episode 28. Bank the Ocho. We getting ready to kick this and set it off. You know what I'm saying? We got Brother Lee Ballinger in the house, and we got my man from Davis Middle School, the great teacher Carvel in the house. You know what I'm saying? And we represent United Artists to End Homelessness.
Artists United.
Excuse me, I said it backwards. Artists United to End Homelessness. AUEH. So understand what it really is. It's all about a positive movement to change the epidemic. We coming to y'all with this next episode. You already know what we're gonna do. We're gonna hit you over the head with it. So get ready. Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast. Hip hop for the people. Positive minded apparel. Y'all know what it is.
That's what's up, baby. That's what's up, man. This is Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast. We in the house, man. This is episode 28.
Bank the Ocho.
You say block where we grew up.
Eight
you know
block.
what I'm saying? You know what it's about, you know. And
2 and the 8.
he gave you his intro, and we're gonna introduce all the folks in the house. Of course, you know, you got your usual suspects. We got who we got over here, Ricky? We got Mad Verbal. What?
What's up, world?
The mad scientist, you know what I'm saying? He's mad, he's a scientist, he be up all night coming up with this little chemistry set. You know what I'm saying? You got myself, Redbeard, the feared one, those who despise the ones who hide from the sun.
Some of y'all might know him as THC, but we can't call him no more. He don't THC.
Not smoking right now.
Redbeard, the beard one.
No, man.
You dick basic now.
Hey, fuck Ivy C. Castillon, you know, missing in action, but you know, anyway.
Shout out to Double B.
Double B, Brandon Bradford.
Back in the scene.
Yeah, back in with the Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast. We got Ricky C, Ricky Lee Compton Jr.
Hello, ladies.
No Mac,
aka No Chains, aka Pay Attention.
PA, you know what I'm saying, all that good stuff. We got Mr.
Lee Ballinger.
Love and War Podcast. Love and War, was the novel Love and War, wasn't it?
Well, the last book is Love and War.
Last book was Love and War, you know what I'm saying?
You know, he's not supposed to write books, folks.
Right,
he
right.
does that. Right.
Don't we all?
Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? Artists United in Homelessness. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother, and say hi to the people.
Oh man, it's so good to be here again. I'm so glad we're going back to the top 5. I'm kind of preoccupied chewing it up what it's going to be though right now.
Right. And Mr. Carvel, what's your last name, brother? If you don't
Halloway,
mind.
man.
Halloway. Carvel Halloway. You got any nicknames? Any
No,
musician
man.
names?
I used to go by Stokely a little bit because I had a band. I had like a hip hop jazz group called Stokely. So that's my middle name.
Okay.
Stokely.
I like that name. I like that name for a band. I like the fact that you got jazz and hip hop.
I see the scientist over there mulling around in his head.
Yeah,
That's right.
His face is definitely familiar for some reason. Don't know why yet, but we'll figure it out.
Hey, you hear the beard
You guys know
popping.
about Stokely Carmichael?
Right.
Black historian.
Beard and bullshit, baby. You know how we do. You know what I'm saying? And you hear that the beard is popping.
And again, we're going to give a toast
out
to the Artists United Against Homelessness.
So Carvel, man, welcome to the podcast, man. We
Yes,
appreciate you
welcome.
guys showing up.
What's up?
You know, so the main theme obviously is ending homelessness, and it's what we talk about every time we come together.
Stop an epidemic.
We just got through having about an hour meeting, and you guys aren't privy to that, but you know, just know that we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Just be ready to support.
We could shoot out some dates and some events coming up. Lee, won't you help us with that? You know, let's just let the people know what we got going on.
Okay. Artists United and Homelessness will be posted up at the New Blues Festival in Huntington Beach on Saturday, April 27th at Coachella. Not Coachella. Coachella.
Like a cold brew.
Shouts out to SoCal Cerveceros. Shouts out to
Ray
Rivera. We will be in the house representing Artists United to End Homelessness.
That's also on
We're
Saturday.
going live on y'all's ass.
Saturday, April 27th. Then we'll also be a part of, there's a hip-hop memorabilia exhibit opening at the Fullerton Museum.
What day is that?
The opening's on May 4th, Saturday. It's going to run all summer. If you don't make it down that weekend.
But there's another event though, the day before.
Oh yes, the day before. It's
Your fucking birthday.
Oh yeah!
I don't give a a damn, people. I'm about to be 47.
Whoa!
years old.
Whoa.
In the house, baby.
Wait, you know, I was reminded of myself that it was your birthday because since I've been here this evening, you're getting older.
Yeah. Real quick.
So happy birthday to our dear friend here. And also that night at the same Fullerton Museum, we're going to be tabling. Artists United will be tabling. There'll be an open mic. Pretty sure everybody in this circle will be at the mic along with many others.
No doubt. And then May 4th.
May 4th, Mike Sonkson, the next poet laureate of the city of Los Angeles. It's got a new book out called Letters to My City, and will be posted up at the Buddhist Temple, 2707 East 1st Street.
You can't
in
miss
Boyle
it.
Heights,
Boyle Heights, baby.
6
You
to 8
can't miss that.
p.m.
If you can't see that temple, then your ass don't deserve to be there.
Have some
Right.
poetry, some music, some refreshments. It's free to get in. What more do you want?
Right, no doubt. That's
Nothing
what's
but a
up.
blessing.
Yeah, so man, we got a lot of other stuff coming up, man. Shouts out to Universal Hip Hop Museum,
Dark Side 9042.
Darkside 90042, the
Sneaky Entertainment.
homie Sneaky Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to Speakeasy Redwood Room. You know, shouts out to La Clica.
All underground hip hop
Yeah,
artists.
putting us on
Definitely.
the episode 38. You can check that out on our YouTube page.
He
pages.
said 38, but he meant 28, 28.
No, not ours. No, I'm talking about theirs.
Oh, you talking about
The
La
episode
Clica.
that we was on, La Clica, yeah, it was 38.
Shouts out to La Clica.
So check that out. We'll be on there.
Hey, I'm on the cover of that shit.
Yeah,
Like,
you know
yo,
what I'm saying? So,
right.
yeah, Mr. Vanity over here. No, I'm just
Okay.
kidding.
That's what I'm not.
No, I'm just messing with you. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So check that out, man. You know, all the people we support. Hey, what about our anthem, Mr. Think Right, man?
You said what?
Man, scientist.
The what? That what?
That Black and Brown Movement anthem, brother.
It is that
Lead us
we
into
what?
that.
We, the Black and Brown
movement,
movement,
believe
believe that civilization began in Africa. Through the migration, we arrived at Aslan.
From east to
west, we're all people of the sun. 400 years of blood, sweat, and tears. There's 500 years of resistance. There's only things we retain through bravery and persistence. The gospel, the culture, the music.
Yeah.
Boom,
All right.
check it, son. You know what I'm saying? So
Real talk.
that's Black and Brown Movement, and that's our
That's just
anthem.
for a couple of you who don't know where you originated from now.
Right,
you know.
right.
Hey,
Hey.
and to my brown people, I'm gonna give you this philosophy right now. You are 10% genetically black by genetics. You know what that means? That means you're born that way. So stop acting like you different. You're my ate too.
Right.
What's up, my mayate?
Alright. Hey, you got the Spanish anthem or Spanish intro or anything in Spanish? Speak to the gente, homie. Like, what's
Hey,
up,
and that
man?
shout out was really for you coconuts that act like y'all don't know who you are.
You know what I'm saying? So give Ricky a minute. He's looking up the anthem here. You
Yeah,
know?
I don't know about heart. Yeah, I'm not
You know what
that.
I'm saying?
that
In
prolific, yeah.
Espanol. You know
He's
what I'm saying?
bilingual, but not fully.
Shouts out to all our Latinos, whether you be Mexicano,
Hispanic, whatever you want to call yourself.
Puertorriqueño, Cubano.
Alright, so this is the BNB Spanish anthem. Creemos que la civilización comenzó en África a través de la migración que llegamos a Aslan, a través de 300 años de sangre, sudor y lágrimas y 500 años de resistencia. Solo hay un par de cosas que hemos retenido a través de la valentía y la persistencia y el evangelio, la música y la cultura.
That's right. So I'm about to bust my intro. You know what I'm saying? This movement, this Black and Brown Movement Radio podcast. Purpose of the podcast is to promote independent artists, no matter what your art may be, whether you b-boys, b-girls, you know, graffiti dancers. I don't care, cooks,
Painter,
canvas art, paint art. It really don't matter what your art may be. Artists United to End Homelessness.
It's about artists.
And we're here to promote independent artists. So,
Artistas.
you know what
I'm
I'm
mining
saying?
right now.
Yeah, so it's
freeze.
It's about our black and brown people, but it's also about our IMC people. What is that, folks? What is IMC?
International Multicultural.
That means we're worldwide.
Worldwide.
No borders, no boundaries, no
limits, and no gimmicks. That means no whack MCs.
We're the voice of the
You're
people.
not welcome.
We're the voice of the people, and we hope that our message is heard and received far and wide, east, north, west, and south.
That was north, so he said.
East, north, west, and south.
North,
Thank you.
east,
Thank you.
west,
That's
and south.
global.
It actually
That's full
spells
circumference.
news if you want to break
360
it down.
degrees.
I want to introduce this, man. This is something that I wrote a little while back, but I hadn't got a chance to bust it. But I call it the BBM radio podcast drop. And what it is this is the way the world goes round. This is the Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast. Time to wake your ass up.
Wake up.
Pass up. We started this to promote independent artists, from the anthem to the introductions, from the segmental functions, sometimes a dysfunctional family. Yeah, sometimes they can't handle me or my brothers, the B&B. You're too near me not to hear me, but guess what? I need you to beer me. While Mad Verbal stays with his blunt or joint, yo, we stay on point with the main sports topics. The other platforms, you can't stop it. When we rock it, we keep the interviews and music live. You can't top our top 5. And we won't rest until we get the best of the special guests. Marcus ended with the ad lib when we say what? One movement. Yeah, so that's what's up, folks. Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast. We in the house. I want to thank my brother Lee Ballinger for sending me this book in the mail.
I was looking at that like Black and Brown.
You'll see pictures of it, you know what I'm saying? You'll see pictures of it, the cover, but what it is, it's Black and Brown, African Americans in the Mexican Revolution from 1910 to 1920. And this is by Gerald Horn. So shouts out to Lee Ballinger, shouts out to Gerald Horn for writing this. And there's plenty of literature out there. As a matter of fact, my book will be coming out soon, The Birth of a Movement. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, his book will be out soon, but the album's out already.
Oh, yeah.
Go get it on iTunes and all your internet platforms.
That's right.
To Dial, Deezer, all that.
Called The
Birth of
Storm.
a Movement, and we had an EP called The Storm.
That's what's
Go
up.
get it. Support real hip hop.
Got another EP coming out, my solo EP called Intellectual Property. Got about 5 to 7 songs on that. Ricky Compton's Nomac PA, his EP will coming out. Of course, Marcus's freestyle mixtape, be looking out for that. I don't know what the name is yet, but you know, he always got something going on. So that's what it is, man. Mr. Carvel, man.
Sir.
Talk to me about your music, man. I know you're a musician, a jazz
The
musician.
trumpeter.
Yeah, man, I do a little of everything. Play a lot of freelance stuff. I'm a music teacher in Compton, so.
Okay.
You know,
Where was it at?
Davis Middle School, man.
You said
General.
Compton. Bro, you missed it. His last name is Compton. So when you said Compton.
Oh, the city, not the dude. The city, not the dude. Yeah, CPT. The city, not the dude.
Shout out to all my vapors out there.
They keep me a little busy.
We vape.
Dealing with the youth in the daytime. But you know, every night I'm playing somewhere. I do a lot of different things. You know, playing with some jazz groups. Like I said earlier, I played with Jimmy McConnell, man, for about 4 or 5 years. And,
Okay.
That's big.
You guys play at the
That's
Central,
big and big
Central
band.
Jazz, Central Avenue Jazz Festival.
Yes, I played there with them. Our boy Ernie Perez has a CD coming out with the Boxing Gandhis, I believe, in another month or so.
Okay.
This guy,
I'm on there.
that minister over there.
Right.
I ain't even know he. Yeah, whoa.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, man.
Hey, shouts out to our family, Rafiq.
Yeah, Rafiq, what up,
You
man?
know our family,
Yeah.
Rafiq.
Found your family, bro.
You
Yeah,
know,
that
Auntie
lets you
Robbie,
know.
Come get
you know
it.
what I'm
Small
saying?
world.
Better half.
Come get it, Rafiq.
Yeah, so that's what's up, man. That's dope, man. Yeah, so you know, Artists United to End Homelessness. Lee, give the people a synopsis, man. Give them a summary. Give them an idea.
Giving them the big picture of what we doing and why we linked up with y'all, and let them know what the whole mission is.
Yeah,
Because
talk
it's
to
prevalent.
the people, man. Talk to the people about Artists United to End Homelessness.
Okay, well, I think the best way to do is unpack that name. And there's artist is an important word, and united is an important word. Two is kind of a useful word. Homelessness is an important word, but the key word is end.
And
END.
That's
End
it.
homelessness. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, but right now.
So we, what's going on out there is a lot of
dictatorship.
A lot of activity in support of the homeless, feeding people, this, that, and the other. That's all beautiful, but that's actually a separate thing from what we're doing.
Right.
That's a band-aid to the problem.
What we're doing is talking about ending homelessness. Long story short, how we're going to do that? We're going to take the people without homes and put them in the homes without people.
Right.
How?
Yes.
Wow, is that possible? Well, there's 18 million empty housing units in America.
Jesus.
So the obvious
Wait,
answer.
rewind and say that again. I did not know that meant.
Yeah.
Say that again.
You know what that again?
Okay, one more time. The encore. There are 18 million empty housing units in America. So the obvious solution is to put people in those units. Not in a shelter, not in a tent, not under a freeway in Texas, locked in by wire. No, in a home.
Not in no concentration camp.
Not in no
Thank
FEMA
you.
camp, right?
Absolutely. So, and artists, of course, the importance of artists is this is an idea that needs to be conveyed. We need to win the hearts and minds of the American people away from thinking that homeless people are second-class citizens,
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
and
Change
to
that
help
perception.
people understand. Because I know that most people listening, if they're not homeless, they're worried that it could happen to them.
Or
And
they have a
as-
family member or somebody that is.
absolutely.
Associated with homelessness one way or another.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
inevitable.
Well, the only way that we can be sure any one of us won't become homeless and have the peace of mind that all human beings deserve is if no one can become homeless.
Right.
Therefore, then it can't happen to you
Right.
if it doesn't exist.
Right
now, it's gaining on, It's gaining on all of us. So if we don't make that a reality, it's going to catch us all.
Right.
We can't let that happen.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah,
No
that's what it
doubt.
is, brother. That's what it is.
Speak.
You just heard from Lee Ballinger,
Hey,
war vet, an author. This man is very dynamic. You know what I'm saying? He's a mentor
Community
of
activist.
mine, and I'm speaking for myself, but I'm sure I can speak for my
that's why
brothers
I
in the
just put notes
movement.
in here.
You know what I'm saying?
From my black calendar that I have on the wall that I just looked over to and seen Brother Barack Obama, our, what's that, 44th president. He says, his quote is, challenge yourself, take some risks in your life. What you're afraid of. You're not really living if you don't take risks.
Yeah, take a risk and jump out and help to end homelessness.
Stop this epidemic that has been created by the politicians.
There's plenty of causes out there, right? You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of mantles to pick up. You know, we talked earlier in our meeting about, you know, involving the youth. And I'm sure there's people that are younger than probably every single one of us are in this circle today on this podcast that's out here listening that have been paying attention to this podcast on any point, on any level. And we definitely want to talk to you because this is something that we feel passionate about. It's something we feel that most people out there should feel passionate about because as Brother Marcus mentioned, Lee has mentioned many times in many of our interactions, is that homelessness affects all of us one way or another.
You know, I don't
So-
think I've heard any other podcaster really even touch on that subject. You know, I mean, with all the types of podcasts that are out there, and you know, you guys talk about all this other things, but they don't ever take the time to really focus on things at hand that really mean something.
If you out there, man, please, anybody listening, you know, leave comments in the comment section. You know,
Leave
leave
your
your
handles.
feedback. Yeah, you know, way to reach out if you want to get involved. You know,
Matter of fact, we're forming something called the Mobcast. If you guys are interested in it,
all you
know,
podcasts, man.
yeah.
Everybody, roll call, baby. La Clica Podcast, R&R Podcast, Sneaky Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Super Audio. All those podcasts that we've been involved with. You know what I'm saying? Just go on and leave a comment, man, in the roll call and shoot your name out there and let us know that you know what I'm saying, you represent and who you are and that you down with our cause. And this cause for us right now is Artists United 10 Homelessness. Shouts out again to Dark Side 90042.
Shouts out to DJ
Sneaky,
Mark Love,
DJ Mark Love. We was at Los Globos, you know, last
Scatterbrain,
month.
El
Scatterbrain,
Scatterbrain,
you know what I'm saying?
the numerous crew,
Yeah.
Omniverse, Seedless.
you
Bless
know,
up, brethren.
all you underground cats out there, man, and who choose to be underground.
C1, we saw you there too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Big ups.
Hubwise Gallery, you know, shots out, you know what I'm saying? But what it is, you know, like Mark Love said, and we talked about that Facebook post he put, man, that was real big, that people in the underground that choose to be underground because they don't want what comes with the commercialization.
Mainstream society.
Mainstream. You know what I'm saying? A word that's dear to my heart and the movement in general that I've heard a lot of times out of Lee Ballinger's mouth, grassroots. You know what I'm saying? We talked about those on the bottom versus those on the top and everyone in between. Well, those on the bottom, as I mentioned, are a foundation.
The root to the matter.
You know what I'm saying? Grassroots means those that are rooted in the trenches, those that are, you know what I'm saying, on the front lines. You know,
Infantry squad.
I'm saying that's what it is, you know. Without those, there's nothing. And so those on that foundation, in order for a foundation to be strong, need to be together. So we need to get together on that
Unity,
level.
strength in numbers.
You know what I'm saying? And it'll, instead of trickle down, in a lot of cases, you know,
we gonna shake the tree from the fucking bottom.
Right, from the roots. You know, you talk about it, you know, let's say sports, for example, organizations, you know, they say, oh, you know, it starts from the top down, you know. Okay, maybe in that situation it does, but in what we're talking about here...
No, it doesn't. Because the players are what makes the motherfuckers even have a job.
No doubt. Yeah, so, you know, we're changing that dynamic. We're changing that perception and perspective where it's not about trickle down. It's about trickle up. You know what I'm saying? It's about...
Explode up.
Yeah.
It's about making those on top uncomfortable.
Yep. Each one teach one, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way we can reach everybody, you know. So that's what tonight's podcast is about. You know, we won't really get into unless, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody got anything on current events related to...
Yeah, we got current events. It's sport related.
Okay. Well, you know, we got our sports
We got our sports segment,
you
but
know
we
what I'm
also have current events about what's going on in sports. So it is not always sports related, but it's sports.
Wait a minute. Let's get together and let's give shouts out to and rest in paradise and whatnot to brother Nipsey Hussle.
Oh, bless up.
Yes.
Let's recognize that real quick.
Bless up to Nipsey Hussle and his community activists.
His
and
family.
His families,
Lord
marathons.
His children.
You know what I'm saying? And victory lap. We ain't stopping.
The marathon continues. And, you know, that was his brand, man. That's what he believed in. Brother, man, he did a lot, man. I really respected the fact that he got down with everybody and anybody who...
It didn't matter if you was blood in the crippin'.
And it didn't matter. He was on that level, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what Black and Brown is about. Because, you know, Bloods and Crips beef. Black and Brown has beefed at times. And we've always been, representing Black and Brown unity. And it's about unity in general, you know. And you know, ending homelessness is going to take unity. You know, everyone. They
want us to stay separated so they can keep doing the things they're doing. That's the simplicity of it. Distractions. You got to pay attention to the actions, otherwise you get caught up in the distractions.
You know what I'm saying? We got the song. Check it out. Distractions is coming, man. That's what they be doing, man. They're trying to distract us from the
like all that R. Kelly shit, everything you've been seeing all over the news in depthly lately, plastering the TV screens, the radio. So all the distract y'all from what's really going on behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Signing bills and shit y'all ain't even knowing that's gonna affect your whole livelihood.
You know, everyone talks about like conspiracy theories. And
they made up that shit, the government.
Yeah, they want to try and downplay that shit, but in reality, all that means is those that are woke are really seeing what's going on and taking something not just on the surface.
We're not a part of your fucking matrix.
No, not at all. We're about unplugging motherfuckers from the matrix. You know what I'm saying? And
Spike Lee said it best a long time ago on School Days. Wake up!
Right, and do the right thing.
He
said a lot of things, man. And shouts out to Spike Lee, by the way. Finally winning the motherfucking Oscar. Finally being recognized
for the Black Klansman. Even though these cracker motherfuckers, excuse my French, in that that white Zionist industry only want to give him his Oscar for the screenplay. Really? The screenplay turned into a movie.
Best director.
The screenplay turned into a movie. So how did you just fuck y'all?
Best director was from the movie about Mexico. I forget the
Roma.
Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Brown.
Black and Brown.
You know, the screenplay, Black. Black Panther had numerous awards. You know, set design, costume design. Black and Brown was in the house at the Academy Awards, and I don't think this year was, they just decided to recognize him. I think that Black and Brown
they made it inevitable.
Is coming and so hard and so strong that there was no denying it. They had to recognize, you know what I'm saying? Look at Best Animated Film, Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, where it wasn't the typical white Spider-Man, but it was, what's his name? Miles, first name, Miles, last name is Latino. I forget the name, but those true fans out there know what I'm talking about. Into the Spider-Verse. It's Miles Morales. Miles Morales, you know what I'm saying? Miles Morales as Spider-Man, and Into the Spider-Verse won Best Animated Film this year. So
I still haven't seen it. I might have to go watch it.
It's dope, man. It's dope. It's real dope. The message is there, and the music.
So it wasn't just another love story in Spider-Man.
Nah, to be honest, there was really no love story in it at all. It was more about there was a bunch of different Spider-Mans. Into the Spider-Verse. There was a female, there was a spider chick.
I was just about to say, I'm a spider. I love Spider-Man.
So what they did was
there's
the
like
borders, boundaries, and limits.
There is various Spider-Mans. There's a brown Spider-Man.
There was a fucking pink Spider-Man.
There's a female Spider-Man. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like
it was all Spider-Mans.
I think in total is 10 different Spider-Mans.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shouts out. You know that was what was dope. That was what was up. But yeah, so. Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can, spins a web.
That's that classic. 6:30 in the morning before school, boy. Old school. What y'all know about them real cartoons?
Right. That might not have been Stan Lee's first superhero, and those real Marvel and Stan Lee fans.
But he was a very big, iconic one.
No, the first one. I won't even holler on that right now because that kind of glorifies what we are kind of standing against right now. But Spider-Man, I think, was one of his best. And my mom would tell you when I was a kid, I wanted to be Spider-Man when I grew up. So
who didn't like Spider-Man?
You know what I'm saying?
You're a friendly neighborhood guy.
Fuck DC, fuck Superman, fuck Batman. Fuck Captain
Spider-Man made
America,
his webs.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be Spider-Man. Your neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So
community activists.
So man, I'm just loving this podcast, episode 28, Black and Brown Movement.
So for y'all information, top 5 for today is in respect and honor and our new member today, Brother Carvel. It's a representation to the top 5 jazz artists.
Top 5 jazz artists. Yeah, we'll get to that, man. I'm excited about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna speak anything about it because I'm saving it for the top 5. But yeah, that's what it is.
All right.
The main theme obviously is artists united to end homelessness and the plight of ending homelessness. Keyword
stopping
end.
the epidemic.
Sports segment coming up. As a matter of fact, I think we're gonna take a little quick break, right quick, and then we're gonna get back to you folks.
Yeah, because I gotta see a man about a horse.
I'm saying though, you gotta beat me there, cause beer and bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm handicapable, but I'm quick.
Yeah, so I'll catch you on the rebound. That's what it is. Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast episode Deuce. Alright, here we are, Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast, episode 28, Deuce 28. We back, man. I wanted to read you something Mr. Lee Ballinger handed to me during the break. It's by Nelson Perry in 2004, and it's entitled Blacks and Latinos. So I figured
Black and Brown.
You know what I'm saying? I figured it was appropriate, considering we are the Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast. So I'm just going to read a little paragraph here on this, and then we'll move on to current events. But what it says here, it says no discussion of the economical and political positions of Latin Americans in this country is complete without a word about their relationship to and how they are viewed by their immediate economic competitor and most important political ally, the African American people. So I'm very I'm looking forward to and very excited to read this paper here by Nelson Perry, written in 2004, relating to black and brown folks. I read you the title of the book that Lee sent me, which I'm also extremely appreciative of, and I know he read my book, which I'm appreciative of as well.
Not as much as I am.
Okay, well, I do appreciate that. I mean, and the email that I received from him in response to it, you know, talking about how folks like him and I are not supposed to write. You want to elaborate on that, Lee?
Oh, just as part of the okie doke that is forced into our bodies through various means, 24 hours a day. There's just a small group of people that's supposed to make music, buy it. There's a small group of people supposed to write books, buy it, and you're supposed to have a whole lot of education, a whole lot of this, a whole lot of that. That's all fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the people in those categories that do it, but here's the reality. Here's the reality of which you and I are part. I was at Southwest College a few years ago, and there was a bunch of events going on, and I was part of one of them. And I happened by this. It's kind of like a workshop, and there was about, I think, 7 people on a panel and about 50 people in the room. And if you know Southwest College, you know where all those people were from.
Yeah.
Every person in that room had written or was writing a book.
Okay.
We can speak for ourselves.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no doubt. That's what it is, man. That's what it's about, you know. And we talk about it a lot, and we'll continue to do so, how artists are those with voices. Whether you speak through canvas or wall art or through your camera, your
Any language.
in any language, you know, art,
Sign language.
man, you know what I'm saying? Art is in the eye of the beholder, they say, right?
Yes, sir.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Art is in the eye of the beholder. And you know, I heard something the other day where they were talking about art, and they were saying how it doesn't cost anything. Well, not anything, but it's very cheap to buy a canvas, to buy the oil paints or whatever type paint you use that you know paint with. But yet these pieces of art sell for millions. And they were saying it's because of those who are perceiving that art and the value that they put on it. So just think about that for a minute. Like, you know, you've heard, you know, whether it's Mona Lisa, Van Gogh, Michelangelo, whoever, whatever, you know what I'm saying? These pieces of art that you know, are sell, you know, what's the name? Basquiat, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
know,
That's right.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it just depends on those that are perceiving the art and what value they put on it, you know, is what it sells at. Because it might not have cost much to you know, for the tools to actually make the art, but just imagine the creativity that was instilled in that person, you know, and their vision for what it is that they created as a piece of art, and then for those that perceived it and what they valued it as, you know, you go from the oils and or tools to create it costing not much of nothing, but you know, the value of it being millions. That to me is, you know, it was pretty profound to hear that and really think about that.
While countless number of artists are walking the streets with no place to live.
Homeless artists. What?
What?
What we represent? Artists United to End Homelessness. The artists are the ones the most starving and homeless.
True that. That's what it is, man. Brother Marcus, I know we talked during the break. You had a couple things you want to touch on with we were talking about the government and weather.
Yeah, the only thing current event based is the tornado, hurricane shit that we already know is.
Snowstorms in April and shit.
We already know that government demand control. How the hell can 2 tornadoes or hurricanes hit in one location at the same time.
Right.
It's not nature.
And who's it affecting?
The little people.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
The quote unquote poor white trash, the black and the brown.
Right. You know,
People living in trailer homes and what's the manufactured homes, KB homes or whatever.
I kind of want to say that it's starting to affect the top now because of the fires that occurred from all that happening too. So
no, that's not the same. No, that's not the same. The fires that's just God is doing that for all them rich folks. It's written. We talking about these hurricanes that are literally designated in these areas where these people don't got no money.
Definitely.
Now they trying to figure out how they gonna rebuild their homes that they own.
what you're talking about is
That's not covered by insurance or this, that, and the other third.
You're talking about man-made weather.
Weather patterns.
That they have a treaty not to use in war, but they can use it against the human society. Something wrong there.
Population control, geographic control, man-made weather that,
But they say it's not true.
Well, it's right. I was getting to that. Those are some people might be listening and thinking like, "What the hell? What are you talking about?" Well, what we're talking about is man playing God.
Period.
They're now doing it in weather the same way they're doing it in biological warfare, chemical warfare,
medical
economical warfare. You know what I'm saying?
To tie it back into what we're talking about tonight too, though, it's causing a lot of homelessness.
No doubt.
It causes a majority of the homelessness, really.
And it's
those are one of the factors
creating that epidemic that you were talking about.
Those are one of the main factors that contribute to homelessness.
Yeah, no doubt. So some of that stuff we might not have control of ending. We might not have the resources to end, but one of the biggest messages that I've gotten from Lee since I met him to this point that we've talked about in regards to Artists United ending homelessness is making enough noise for those that do have the control.
Use your voice.
For them to take notice and realize that if they don't make a change for the betterment of the people on the foundation, on the ground level, what they say, ground zero when it came to the Twin Towers and 9/11 and all that.
The government trickery.
Man, we've got metaphorical Twin Towers going on over here on the West Coast.
Homelessness.
And and we are the foundation, and we are ground zero. And so those on ground zero, we all need to get together. We all need to unite. We all need to man up and have our voices be heard and our actions be known. So yeah.
Not even just heard, but recognized.
Right, no doubt.
Because we're heard every day, but it's time that you guys recognize.
Yeah. I mean, actions speak louder than words, right? So, yeah, we could talk about it till our face turn blue, but until we do something, until those actions are recognized and the words are recognized, nothing will be done.
Yo, Garcetti, we talking to you.
Right. Any thoughts, Mr. Carvel over there? Can you chime in?
Hey, you mean on like just
anything, brother? Anything. I mean,
it's an interesting thing. They trying to get people throwing their hat in the ring for presidency and stuff.
Okay.
Trump and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I found one dude interesting. Not that I'm like trying to jump on anybody's bandwagon because there's just a whole lot of bull out there.
Right.
Actually, and a lot of that stuff in general is it's interesting to watch.
Right.
But there is a dude that's putting on the that's trying to go for the Democratic vote that's trying to put out like a guaranteed income for every American.
Okay.
Type of thing, and I just think it's interesting because people are and even in electoral politics now, they're trying to deal with the fact that people don't have jobs, man.
Right.
there is a reason that so many people are homeless. People don't have jobs.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
Too high cost of living.
McDonald's has said that they're gonna be going to
machines, robots and shit.
Robots and
yeah, I've been seeing those posts and
yeah.
emails from Lee
and there's a few companies that came out all at the same time in the last month that said that they're now going to be going to basically a laborless kind of
Work
type things. So even in electoral politics, we're seeing people start to deal with the fact that there's a reason behind all these people who can't do anything, and it's not their fault.
Right.
Now I'm not saying that dude has the answer. But there's a reason he's saying this.
Do you know his name? Do you know his name by choice?
It's an Asian dude. I forget his name.
Okay.
And it was funny because I didn't. They were talking about it, and I think the reason that they even talked to this guy was because he did like some kind of skit thing with a Tupac hologram.
Oh, I saw that guy. He did the hip hop thing with
Now we know
talking
all
about
that,
him alive,
but the
right?
thing that we're not seeing is what he's actually posing, and he's even saying, there's examples like in Alaska where they use this type of thing for economic reasons, to try and deal with some of the joblessness, and not even in a sense, there's a lot of joblessness, but there's also just a lot of people. Man, no one can make enough money to actually live.
Right. Cost of living too damn high.
We're talking about people who have jobs and live in their car.
You were mentioning that earlier about this guy living in front of your house.
Hardworking people, just good, decent people, man. They're trying to make it in this world, man. And all they can do is
trying. And what we represent is trying these room for failure, and it's not their choice of failing, but the American society has set them up for failure. Because how do you keep increasing the cost of living but not increasing the amount of money that they're making in their wages?
Yeah, like you're talking about increasing the minimum wage, but you're taking like 5 years. What are they supposed to do in 5 years? Like, how are they supposed to survive?
How do you get
trying
to
to
that
make
point?
it right? Get to that point. Like, come on, man.
We're taking away the jobs and everything.
And what will rents be in 5 years?
Right.
Higher.
Right. Yeah.
Giraffe pussy high.
That's hot.
Damn.
Take your word for it.
Yeah. Well, good.
Hey.
Take your word for
She's
that.
high now. 5 years.
And
Yeah.
that's why they call him the mad scientist. Mad verbals, because he always comes with some great mad verbal shit. Lee, I see you over there coming back looking at some papers or something. What, you got something else for us? Or what you got going on?
Drop that knowledge.
What? We talking current events?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this month is the 1 year anniversary of a very significant event in America that most people are not aware of. Last April of 2018, in Uniontown, Tennessee, that we had the largest workplace raids by ICE in about 10 years.
That's right.
Hundreds of people were arrested while they were working in these factories.
Wow.
And
Put that shit on the news.
Uniontown, the county that it's in, went 80% for Donald Trump. So of course you know that, of course, all the people there were cheering on the raids, right? And they were down with it, right? Wrong.
Poverty is now epidemic.
In the first week, people in that town raised $60,000 for the defense of these immigrants who had been arrested. There was marches, rallies, potlucks, vigils. That's what time it is in America.
Right.
So
They tired of it too.
to me, the lesson of that is find somebody that you don't know and talk to them today.
Right.
Good advice.
Man, that's like someone I hear on sports. sports radio, I listen to 710 ESPN. Shouts out. You know, we know they owned by Disney, and you know, I won't go into that whole thing. But there's some good people.
I will. Fuck Walt Disney.
Yeah,
You racist motherfucker.
And I agree.
Disneyland was not created for the black and brown.
Right.
Know that fact.
And I agree with all that. But there are some good people on the radio working for them. And this one, the one kid, Doctor, what is his name? He's like a sports surgeon or whatever. But he has a sports radio show on Saturdays, and he's got like a really good heart, man. He's always talking to different people, and one thing he says is like anybody comes on the show and they talk, you know, they'll talk about the injuries or whatever, and he'll give them advice, you know, and his thing is he's a surgeon, so you know he making big money, right? And he's doing athletes and whatnot, and so he making this big right. So he get regular people calling, man, I got this injury, this and that, and he'll like talk against surgery and give them other advice of what they can do and whatnot, and then he tells them like, and they're like thanking him like, man, I really thank you for that advice. And he tells them, well, the best way you can thank me is by finding somebody you don't know and just saying hi or giving them some love or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so Dr. Clapper.
Okay.
Yeah, and shouts out Dr. Clapper, man, because yeah, I remember that when you said that, he's, I trip on him because he's a surgeon and he talks about always, performing all these surgeries on these athletes, and he's making money, and he's Jewish, but he's got this heart, like you could just kind of tell from his conversation, and he takes calls from the regular people on the radio and gives them advice on how they can heal themselves or ways to avoid surgery or when surgery is not necessary. A surgeon who makes certain amount of money off of surgery is like, oh, you need a surgery? Oh, I think you need a surgery when you really don't.
Been there.
You know what I'm saying? And so he's telling people, man, you don't need that surgery. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then he helps these people, and then, they thank him, and then he says, well, the best way you can thank me is, talk to someone you don't know today and just, tell them hi or give them some love, whatever. So, yeah, I agree with that, definitely.
That's what's up. Smile, motherfuckers.
You'll feel better. You'll look better, too. You know what I'm saying? So let's jump into sports segment, because Lee talked shit about us not talking about sports when he was around, because he is a Cleveland Brown fan.
That's right.
So hey, go ahead, I'm gonna give you the floor, man.
That's right.
Talk about your Cleveland Browns. I know you're all super excited and shit. You got Odell Beckham and
they got squad. They
Baker
did some
Mayfield
real moves in the offseason.
Talk about it, man. Go on. Get your little shine on.
Well,
we still gonna whoop that ass though. Steeler Nation.
Packers in the house. Go Pack, go.
Bears.
Pack?
Raiders, bro. Raiders.
Okay.
I gotta sit
Wow.
over here
The Las
quiet.
Vegas Raiders?
Yeah, man, I gotta sit over here
Nah,
quiet.
y'all still Oakland. Y'all Oakland this year. Y'all still Oakland.
I gotta sit over here and lick my wings and quiet.
The bar is low, but anyway.
Hey, they got Antonio
Hey,
Brown.
listen. AB don't matter with us. Nor does Le'Veon, what was that? Bell. We rang the bell. That's why his ass went and lost money twice in the whole season, and then in this new contract. Watch what we do this year without the drama queens.
Uh-oh, bring it.
Roethlisberger retired?
Who? He's not.
Lee is talking shit tonight on sports. Go on with your Browns.
Let's
Go
go Cleveland.
ahead. We're going to give you the floor. Go ahead.
LeBron ain't there, so now who is
Well, all I can say is we probably had the greatest offseason in NFL history. And now we're going to take it into the season when we actually play the games. Been recognized by the wonderful people at NFL Broadcast Committee.
Prime time games this year, folks.
We're going to be on prime time all the time. So if you hit me up, because we got a few seats left on the bandwagon, but they're going fast. So don't come crying to me next year at the Super Bowl. I can't get on the bus.
Whoa.
Okay?
That's a big
Okay?
talk. That's a big talk.
Good job. That's it.
Hey,
Super
You got
Bowl.
something to holler about, though.
No, I ain't mad at it.
You got Odell Beckham on one side, and then you got
Talk
Landry.
for me, yeah.
You got Landry
Yeah, break
on the
it
other
down,
side.
man.
Then you got playmaker Baker, what's his name? Baker
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I like that.
You got, and they
I don't know, man. The Browns have had a squad before and didn't do anything with it.
No, it's
They haven't
different
had a
now.
squad like
I
this.
gotta honestly say, it's a different energy. I
Dude, they
watched.
won more games last year than they did in what the last
Yeah, they did.
Now-
3 to 5 years.
That is the definition of a
Yo.
low bar.
They're a different regiment now, for real. And then this offseason really proved that they were different.
So that
They
means,
went after motherfuckers. They ain't did that,
that means
shit.
like their
They
GM,
ain't did that shit since the 80s.
their upper management. You got to
The
give credit
GM
to
is,
them.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they got a new,
Absolutely.
they got a new program.
I sent him a birthday card. I don't
They
even know when his
seeking to
birthday
win.
is.
Yeah, right.
Like they seeking, you know what I'm saying, challenge.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it.
And I'm not either.
I'm glad.
Welcome back.
Thank you very
Rivalry
much.
back on.
Thank you very much.
I'm just happy that we got a new GM and not, you know, he left that old fucking school bullshit trying to build through the draft, which, you know, I appreciate, and we got some good players and we did some shit, but how the fuck can you only have one Super Bowl win with a player like Aaron Rodgers? You only got one fucking win. You got all this drama and talk about
And that was like 9 years ago.
right,
Shit.
you know what I'm saying? All this
Y'all need to get a better
supposedly McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers had all these problems. Well, if that was the fucking case, you should have took care of that shit some years back. At least 3 to fucking 5 years back. Okay, let's take care of now. Whatever, it is what it is. I'm glad. Our GM went out in free agency and made some moves. We even stole the Bears fucking starting safety Amos. You know what I'm saying? I'm appreciative of that. You can weaken them and strengthen us at the same time, so I'm good. And we play in the first game of the season. You know what I'm saying? So,
Almost seems like
hey.
we always do.
can I get a bet? A dub?
Dub, last time
Dub?
you paid me my $20.
I didn't wait a minute. I did. But I gave you a dub not too long ago. So
Nah, but that was for another deal.
that was your deal. All right, so we got it. Hey, you heard it. Black and Brown Women Radio podcast, episode 28. There's $20 on the line. Packers and the fucking bitch ass Cubs or Bears, whatever you want to
The
call it.
Bears and cheese.
Don't hate because we whooped your ass last time, so
Yeah,
I
whatever.
doubt that I
Wait,
don't doubt that it's not gonna happen.
Wait, what
again.
happened in game 1 last season?
Oh,
again?
there you go. See, there
I
you
think
go.
it was down by like 20, 21 points. We came back.
He
and
came
won.
back from injury
Yeah.
and gave you guys misery.
Right, with Mac, but yeah, that's all.
He
Yeah.
stole the honey from the
don't bring that
Bears.
up, bro. That's
Yeah.
a sore spot.
Hey,
Sore spot.
But anyway,
hey,
yeah.
wait,
Hey, it is a sore
wait.
spot. You wanna know why? It's I gave a jersey and it got took back. That's why the fucking.
Hey,
That was
hey,
your fault, bro.
hey, yeah, that was your fault all the way. That was a no Mac moment, not a Mac on.
Right?
Back over there to the Raiders.
Uh-oh.
What's wrong with Chucky's dumbass?
Hey, man.
He's
bruh,
stuck in the days, man.
bruh.
He's stuck
Why?
in the...
No, we ain't even talking today. Why? I don't give a fuck if you don't. He didn't do nothing this year, that year. Why the fuck would you trade your best defender?
Bruh,
Yeah.
bruh,
Yeah.
bruh.
That was
You let him talk on it. He's a Raiders fan.
Like I
Let
said,
Carvel
like
talk
I said,
about
Break
it.
it down. Break it
I
down.
have to sit over here and lick my wounds, bro, because I was shaking my head the whole season, man. I'm sorry.
Did you see what he did immediately? First game injected into the Bears.
Yeah, man.
Damage.
Even though they lost, he was giving my team the
Tore
blue.
that ass up.
First half, anyway.
Oh, man.
Yeah, first half anyway. He tore that ass
Oh,
up.
believe me, I know Max
something
can
in that
play.
game or
Yes,
something, didn't he?
I do know. I do know Khalil.
Yeah,
Mack
because
can
we
play.
got autographed.
Yeah, he's a great player.
First half.
yes, he is. I know that.
And I remember one time we went to a Raider game in Oakland, and I had a bear. It was Bears
Hey.
against
Oh,
Raiders.
no shit.
I sat in the black hole
By
at the Raider
yourself.
game
With
by
his
myself,
Urlacher
dog.
jersey on,
With my
yeah.
Urlacher jersey. I got cans
Oh,
thrown at me, shoulder
shit.
checked. They were mad, but they respected it because I was the only one sitting in the black hole.
And he was cheering.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we won that day.
Oh yeah. Hey,
They were coming out.
one thing I
mad.
can say, and I know Brother Marcus will attest, and
What,
Ricky
Steelers?
too.
What,
No,
Steelers?
No,
What?
about the Raiders. tailgating
Up there
at a Raiders
in
game
Oakland.
in Oakland.
In Oakland.
yeah.
We showed up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah, they were mad because I was sitting at their
Get
with the
that
six
shit
thirty.
right.
They were pissed.
6 in the morning.
5:30.
So was it for them being
But we
Raider fans?
left
I'd
at
have probably got
5:30.
No, we was outside the fucking gate for an hour at 5:30.
Yeah, so we showed up hella early
Yeah.
before the gate opened.
We got woke up.
That's
It was
good
like
shit.
we went to bed about one
Yeah,
something.
we just
Drink.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
motherfucker woke me up at like 3:30. I said, "What the fuck? We going fishing?"
Fishing and shit. Nah, we going
Nah,
to
we
the
going to
tailgate
the
Raiders
tailgate,
game
Raiders
in the
game.
Oakland Coliseum.
I said, "Dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It's 3:30 in the
Hey,
fucking morning."
My brother, he's a self-taught
Dog.
chef, right?
Yeah, oh, he made some soup.
Dude,
Oh,
he made
man,
this
that
little
soup.
like soup
Shrimp
stew
soup.
with
Oh, my
shrimp
goodness.
and
Oh,
vegetables and
wow.
shit in his own broth.
Damn.
Made it all from scratch with the fucking stovetop and shit
Yeah.
and at the tailgate. He had motherfuckers coming through all the parking lot, nigga, trying to come eat some of his shit.
Yeah.
Like, then we were traveling around,
Yeah.
walking around through the parking lot.
The best shit was taking a shot of tequila down a big ass
Dude, the
block
dude
of
had
ice.
the block of
Oh,
ice
yeah, man.
with the
There
steel
you go.
rod. He hit
There
in
you
the
go.
steel rod, make the divot in the ice, and then pour the alcohol. We're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, put your head under the ice, and then just fucking pour the tequila.
Yeah,
in.
I even got a shot of that.
Man, that's-
There you go.
Tailgating in Oakland is nothing like LA Raiders game.
Nah, it's love. It's still love. It's love.
No, it's not.
Hey,
It's a
man, I-
respect
I
in
was-
Oakland for what the game is and fans.
Yeah.
In LA, motherfuckers be on some bullshit.
Yeah.
Your ass get stabbed in the bathroom.
All that crazy.
I've seen it. I've seen it happen.
You get
I was
jumped.
there.
Right.
What you talking about? I was there.
I've witnessed it.
Matter of fact, they
Get
opened
your
up a
ass-
sub police station in the damn place just
Yeah.
because
Get
of
your
that.
ass
Right.
jumped. You got on the rival jersey. Don't be a Charger or Bronco fan at a Raiders game in LA.
Or a
You
Steeler
might
fan.
Steeler
Or a
fan.
Steeler fan.
Shit, nigga, I've been there. Motherfuckers got a little respect, but they hate us.
Actually,
Yeah.
we me and Baller, we went to game. We were at Raiders games.
Yeah,
We
that's
went
what
to
I'm
a
saying.
Steelers
They
game.
hate us,
Gate
but they
6.
respect
Yeah.
us.
Gate
It's
6.
a difference versus you being a fucking
There's a lot of police that
you
are
being a
Steelers
Charger
Hey, I'll
fan
be the
or
person
Bronco
at the start
fan.
of,
Had a
Saturday this
yeah,
season.
your ass got
The
problems.
Packers are playing the
Whereas
Chargers, and I
They
was
talk
sitting
shit
there
to us, but we not
And
getting
you know, we
jumped.
don't if we went to a Packers Chicago
No,
Bears
I
game.
know that's LA, bro. That's
Man, the LA Raider fans wasn't no joke.
Okay, all right. So let's, we can talk NFL all night, and we're in the offseason.
Hey,
so
by the
true
way,
that, right?
we open up whooping ass on the fucking bullshit Patriots.
Oh, thank you.
I hope
Go ahead,
you do.
that.
Yeah.
Yes,
I hope
sir.
you do. I'm
Yeah.
with you. We
Yes,
all rooting
sir.
it
We
out.
all with you on that one.
Yeah. So let's go on and
Make that
where
happen.
we want to go. MLB, NBA.
Dodgers, yes, they won
El
tonight.
Dodgers.
El
They
El
beat
Dodgers.
the Brewers.
Okay, look.
3-1.
Let's say this: Dodgers started out 8-2, and I'm like, damn. Especially the way they started
Whooping
last
ass.
season was hella weak, right? They started out 8-2, like hell yeah,
Then
good
they
shit.
hit 6-game ski.
Dude, they had 8 home runs in the first game, which was a major league record, a Dodger record.
What do you
And-
mean? Then they scored 18 runs in one game.
Yeah,
set-
they've been
set
killing
a couple
it.
records
But
in the beginning of
then-
the season.
They get to the motherfucking Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals, which is our fucking
Taboo,
kryptonite.
man.
Got swept 4 games.
Stone Love, by the way.
Ended up losing 6 games in a row and getting
The Brewers,
508
The Brewers
fucking
and the
record.
Cardinals whooped that ass in that little stretch of
So they
losing.
done won, I think, 3 or 4 in a row since.
Yeah, they
then.
just beat the Brewers
yeah,
tonight.
Yeah, shouts out to the
Kershiser. That was a combination of Kershaw and Hershiser.
I wish fucking Hershiser would fucking steal his ass in the Kershaw, but
But shout out
yeah,
to
shouts
Kershaw.
out to
He's
the
back.
Dodgers, you know what I'm saying?
Big up to the Blue Crew.
Yeah, so that's what's up. And then we're going to the NBA and, our local team. And every time we talk about them, we always say what? The
Lakers.
Okay, I'm really pissed off right now. Fucking Jeannie Buss, I don't know what the fuck she doing. She got the dildo up her ass. I don't know what, but Rob Pelinka
Need
needs
to
to go.
beat it.
He need to be gone.
Like Michael Jackson.
Magic was like, fuck it, I'm out.
Because of that shit.
They,
Because of Pelinka.
right.
I just ready to learn that shit like
Pelinka need
yesterday.
to go, dude.
Because of Pelinka, and then they wanted him to fire. He wanted Walton to be gone because
Dude,
realistically,
we got so much drama going on right now.
realistically, you got a young coach with a young veteran team, so that changes last year's coaching to a different chemistry. When you have veterans, Stevenson, LeBron,
We just lost out on
Rondo,
David Griffin.
you need a coach that can handle them fucking egos.
David Griffin.
When Walton doesn't pull the trigger. Oh, see? That is some bullshit.
That's some
beer bullshit.
Beer bullshit. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. All right, it's isolated. It's an isolated incident. We're about to take care of it.
That's how passionate I was about what I was talking about.
Little beer spill.
That shit is fucked up. Yeah, because we had a good looking season. Injuries came.
Fabuloso.
And we had a lot of politics that fucked up everything with the fucking trade. You're gonna trade the whole team during the season.
And the youngsters got all fucked and butthurt and yeah.
Dude, if you're at the free throw line and they're yelling, LeBron's gonna trade you, yeah, that's a psychological fucking situation. And Ballinger is the reason why that dumbass trade.
He's a fucking agent, he's not a GM.
Dude, we traded
He's
Zubac
never been a GM.
for fucking McKinney. Who the fuck is that guy? That was some other shit. That wasn't Magic's deal. And all that shit right there, Magic's like, you know what? I can't do what I do. I gotta go back to being Magic and do the shit I love to do. And that's why he left. Politics and bullshit he don't do. If you know anything about Irv and Magic Johnson, that shit he ain't perfect. That's why I remember he came back after the HIV shit.
Yeah.
Came back to the league, and then you had punk ass Karl Malone, a bunch of other chump ass motherfuckers. And what you saw, he was like, you know what, I'm gone. I don't want everybody to be playing in fear because they misinformed, which is the definition of ignorance is a lack of information. And that was a situation with the HIV shit when it first got publicized to the world.
Right.
Everybody was in fucking pandemic instead of knowing what the real truth was. Because he's alive right now still, what does that tell you? Some other shit to that shit.
So did you believe that when we got LeBron, we were going to all of a sudden be a great team?
I never want LeBron. I'm a real Laker fan.
Okay, thank you. Now
Like straight up, I'm a real Laker fan. I never wanted the motherfucker, but I knew it was inevitable. So,
I knew there was some truth in it.
I hope he brings goodness to our squad, but I knew there was gonna be a lot of drama with it because it came from a small market with drama. Now you got a bigger market, it's gonna be more drama.
Huh? Yeah. All right, so I say we go on to the top 5.
Okay.
And then usually we go on and end it after the top 5. But I'm really excited about this top 5.
Yeah.
And I think in honor of our honorary guest tonight, Mr. Carvel Halloway, musician, aka, remind me again, what was the name of your group, your middle name and all that?
Stokely.
Stokely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why don't you go ahead and if you're ready, go ahead and kick it off with your top 5 jazz musicians of all time. You can start 5 to 1, you know, or 1 to 5.
They're not necessarily in order, but
okay.
There's stuff that I gotta hear some.
Right.
First, I would say Kenny Garrett. You know,
okay.
Man, I gotta have some Kenny Garrett. My man was talking earlier about, you know, that positivity. Man, it's something about listening to that cat play that just gets my day started off right. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's one.
Yeah. I would say, you know, the young cat that passed just a few months ago, Roy Hargrove.
Okay.
You know,
yeah, I'm familiar.
Very, very important. Extremely important. Have to put some LA out there. I'd say Kamasi Washington.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
What does he play?
Saxophone. He's a tenor sax.
Okay.
And his whole crew, man, just, you know.
I'm like, the last name Washington, you know, that's my family lineage.
Oh, okay.
Washington, so I'm wondering if he might be family, because I got another family member that plays bass, that you might. I gotta get his name off the top of my head. It's not there right now, but when I do get it, I'll let you know, and you might know him.
Plus, shouts out to your cousin Damani.
Washington.
Oh, all right.
Nkosi.
Yeah, Nkosi, Damani Nkosi. He also hip hop artist, and he's worked with some pretty big name jazz musicians as well. Okay, so that's 3. You got 2 more.
Yeah, another guy that I just want to put out there because you know his career spanned such a long time, and he was an LA guy too. Is Gerald Wilson, the big man. I think a lot of what he did was we're still feeling, like the Kamasis of the world. He put a lot out there. Made it happen. And I'm go way back because I'm a trumpet player. I got to put Clifford Brown in here. Okay. He's a great trumpet player from the past.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Carvel's top 5 right there. Lee, you ready? Or
I'm ready.
Okay.
Where you want to be? Well, first I would have to say I want to thank my dad, who's the person that first introduced me to jazz.
Right.
As a rock and roll kid, which I still am, but he broadened my life out in that way and many other ways. And also I have to give thanks to Carvel because I've known Carvel a long time. We spent a lot of time listening to music, going to shows, putting on shows, this, that, and the other. And I've learned just so much in general from him and hanging with him, and maybe especially about the history of LA jazz, which you just, well, if you're in LA, you don't learn it. But man, if you're not in LA, which of course I didn't grow up here, you don't even know it exists. So
right.
I really appreciated that.
Okay.
So my top 5 would be John Coltrane.
Okay.
For there's of course a million reasons, but the thing that I would mention first is the spirituality. That if you think, to me, my favorite John Coltrane record is "A Love Supreme," and you can't even imagine someone putting out an album with that name today. And of course, he backed it up, to say the least, which isn't easy. So I certainly appreciate that. Regina Carter, who's a violinist, she's just a fabulous musician. She plays with all kind of people, yeah, it's good to see a female get out and get respect,
right.
Definitely, but that's not why the main that she has so many fans. And I have to thank my granddaughter for really, I think I might have originally introduced my granddaughter to Regina Carter, but she helped me see all that was going on in there because my granddaughter's a musician too.
Oh, okay.
Next would be Eddie Palmieri. Again, for so many reasons, but to many people he's just a salsa guy, which is not that's not a sufficient thing to be in life,
right.
But that he took that and brought so much of what's important in jazz came from the Latin side, and then it kind of got forgotten that it kind of stopped happening a bit, and people forgot that it ever did happen. And Eddie Palmieri brought it back with full force. I think he's like 80, 81 years old now, and he's still doing it at a high level. Art Blakey, great drummer, of course, but I think the thing that I probably most appreciate about Art Blakey is all the people he brought through his band.
Yes.
And it's kind of like if someone goes to college as a 2-star recruit and then winds up being a first-round draft pick, you know he had good coaching.
Oh, yeah,
and I don't think anybody went through Art Blakey's band and didn't get better, a lot better. Not just chops-wise, but just, how to drink in the world and give it back.
Right.
And then
Finally?
Number
we'll see
5.
We'll see if it's finally. Next would be Marcus Miller. Again, he's an unbelievable bassist technically, but having seen him live many times and often with Carvel, it's just the way that he can stand up with we've seen him do it with Kenny Garrett, with the baddest ass dudes on the normal soloing instruments, and not just stand toe to toe with them, but set the pace.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's, he was pretty much, he was a kind of a Miles's last phase. He was inseparable from, those two are inseparable and all that, and all that is brought to the world. You can't say enough about him. And I just because it's ridiculous choosing 5, I mean, whatever number you pick would be ridiculous, so that's not a criticism. But I would have to agree with Carvel about Kamasi.
Okay.
And, it seemed like nothing was going on in LA, whether that was true or not, jazz-wise. And then here's this guy. He's probably grew up 3 or 4 miles from my house, 5 miles, who's not just himself a great player, a great leader, but I'm using him as symbolically for everybody in the West Coast Get Down, for Terrace Martin, for Kendrick Lamar. I mean, it all came up together.
Yeah.
And he probably is the most, if he had to pick one person most important in all that, it's him.
Right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's what's up.
Word up.
Well, hey, this is it's the first this podcast. You know what I'm saying? First for you to be in this podcast. We appreciate you being here and your input. So, Brother Marcus usually goes last in our top 5, but he's so excited for this top 5, and maybe between you guys' inspiration or not, I don't know. But he wants to go next. So
Okay. Bring it.
Saxmo.
All right.
All right.
Yes, sir.
He was a pioneer.
That's right. Started it all.
Straight up. He was a pioneer. Then I have to go with Mr. Big Cheeks. Dizzy Gillespie.
All right.
Yeah, that guy. When I was a young kid, I first seen him on Sesame Street, and it was like he was just with the kids and his music, his passion and his heart. You could just feel what he was playing, and that was like really, what I'm saying, touching for a kid. I was like 7, like literally watched Sesame Street, and he was on there doing this thing, and it was like I began then already liking jazz. Plus, respect to Charles Schultz, I was a Charlie Brown kid growing up, so there was always jazz in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was like a trip. As a kid, I've always been jazz has always been infused in my world. So, and then Duke Ellington.
Okay.
One of the best big band guys there was, as a African American, quote unquote. Hella dope, and he elevated the big band game. I mean, the big band game was already dope. Then he came and put a different flair on it. Then I had to give out to the big guys in the world, Jelly Roll Morton, hella pianist. And a vocalist and a ladies' man. Got in trouble back in the day for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that was that 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My final had to be the guy that unfortunately his life came short due to the battle of heroin. And that would be that real smooth dude, Miles Davis.
All right.
His music, just that had messages and a lot of things that talk to you. And pretty much if you understood the life that he battled with, his music explained it.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. That's what's up. That's your top 5. So I'm gonna keep mine. I've heard a couple of them already. I'm gonna keep them going because they're so classic that how can you ever go wrong, and always influential to me as far as jazz music goes, but definitely Coltrane. Sax is like, I think, my favorite instrument, period, whether it's jazz or any other genre of music. But
the sax talks to you.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? And that tenor sax, and the way he played it, and the pictures he painted with it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Picasso could have painted, the same pictures that he painted musically with his instrument. But definitely Coltrane. I hadn't heard this name yet, but as far as keys go, to me, there's nobody other than Thelonious Monk.
I was getting ready. I was reading right now.
You know, definitely.
He did Bella Bebop.
Yeah, another classic, jazz musician, but got to give it to him. Of course, Miles to me. I want to make sure that all the instruments are represented. I don't have a drummer, but between the tenor sax, the keys, and of course the trumpet with Thelonious. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I'm gonna get a little bit more modern, maybe a little bit more commercial. But I listened to this dude a lot, and I really respected him because.
What's your number right now?
That was my third. I'm on my fourth. My fourth is Wayman Tisdale.
Okay.
I was gonna say Tisdale too. I went to the original.
Circumstance.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That song?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just, some people looked
Basketball
at him as
jazz.
commercial, but that was like the transition for me was like the art. I mean, he was a dope fucking NBA player.
Right.
He was a different body type, a different style of play. You can compare him to whoever you want to compare him to, but he was just different.
He went to LaSalle, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think he went to LaSalle.
College-wise, I think so, but yeah, I mean, he was just
Because he
he
took
was
him
an
to the
artist,
tournament.
man.
He took him to the tournament.
And
Okay.
I really respected him as a jazz musician, after his
No,
days.
he was Oklahoma. I'll take that back.
So my number 4 was Tisdale, and then I'm gonna have to go number 5, as you mentioned, Big Band. After I found out who I was named after, I had to go back and study and listen to his music. But Buddy DeFranco, you know what I'm saying? He was a dope, big band jazz musician, and so I gotta have him round out my top 5.
Okay.
Cool.
Ricky.
Okay, so I'm gonna go start with who I listen to now a lot, and that's one of the new age cats coming out of. He plays the trumpet as well. His name's Christian Scott. I listen to him a lot. He has a whole mixture of songs, and he has a little quartet or something like that he has put together. He just, to me, he leads right now. He leads the new generation in it. You know what I mean? I think he's at the top right now. You know what I mean? He's about my age, and he really, if you haven't got a chance to listen to him, you should try and listen to him because, man,
Don't try.
He's
Definitely room for failure.
He's definitely leading the new age right now.
Yeah,
at
very
that.
creative dude.
And not only that, it's the way he talks about his songs and how he puts them together. You know what I mean? He puts a whole bunch, and he fuses hip hop into it too. At that, he matter of fact, he has a song that he did that's a trap song, but it's jazz. It's played from a jazz perspective. It's a sick song. It's a nice little get up how it gets
jazz
down.
trap,
Yeah,
right?
it's definitely one of my favorite songs. It was pretty cool. I think the second person I'll name is my dad because he introduced me to jazz. Just kind of like
All right.
kind of like my man here.
Rest in peace.
He was a jazz musician himself. He sang, he played the piano, the congas, the flute.
Yeah, he
you know
was
what I mean?
Do you
talented.
know his favorite jazz
Yeah,
musician?
it's Frank Sinatra.
No,
What?
Mel Torme.
Mal Torme. Yeah, I would say there was probably a battle between them two because he sure did sing Frank Sinatra a lot.
But he sure in the hell listened to a lot of
Yeah.
more Mel
Yeah,
Torme. He loved the
he's
shit
the
out of
one.
Mel
He's definitely
Torme.
one who influenced me to get into music and he taught me, you know what I mean, at a young age. You know what I mean, got me to sit down and focus and and matter of fact, he's the one who motivated me to be into in junior high. He got me to get into plays and stuff like that. And actually in junior high, he practiced with me so that I could get a lead role in one of the plays that I played was Babes in Toyland, where I had to sing in front of the whole school. Matter of fact, yeah. So I ended up performing one of your songs on stage because of it. You know what I mean? He wrote the song, I performed it. I think I was the first one out of the youngsters to perform on that stage on that. The third one, I'm gonna say is Kem. Kem, I like Kem. He's an awesome
He
singer.
jams.
You know what I mean? He has some love songs that touch you. You know what I'm saying? That just do it. You know what I mean? He knows how to. Just
He's a
play
new
it.
era.
You know what I mean? He's definitely. You know what I mean? He's in his little era. You know what I mean? He's a top cat to me. You know what I mean? Another one that nobody's touched on is the Latin jazz, so I'm gonna touch on the Latin jazz for a second.
Sanchez.
I'm going with Tito Puente. I mean, he's back. Tito, definitely, we got to go see him at got to go see him. What was that at what, the Playboy Jazz Festival? We see him.
No, it was at the Hollywood Bowl.
At the Hollywood
Celia
Bowl, right? It was
Cruz.
Celia Cruz. One of the last performances.
Come on,
It was
man.
actually one of
Her
the
last
last
performance.
performances that she gave there. But Tito Puente's big band was there too, and they rocked it. I mean, they performed together at that. They performed together, so it was a really good treat. You know what I mean? Tito Puente, you can't touch the cat. You know what I mean?
Right.
The guy puts it down.
That's right.
And of course, my last but not least, one of my dad's favorites is Frank Sinatra. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely, you know, Frankie, he puts it down, and he's put it down for a long time. You know what I mean? And he just, you know what I mean? He definitely knows how to jazz it up.
Hey,
Let's be a lady
Dude,
tonight.
I gotta come back and give an honorable mention to.
Spider Bigwig. Yeah.
Well, hey, there's your honorable mention,
Hey,
but
he was
mine,
like
and
that.
I think you guys will all agree with me, Mr. Roy Ayers.
Oh yeah. Come on
Yeah,
now.
I like Roy.
His
I don't know if we have hip hop without Roy Ayers.
I'm saying,
Oh,
because
no,
we were close with Guru from
Okay,
from
oh,
Gangstar
for real,
and
yeah,
Jazz and
yeah,
Taz, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So we got to meet him.
Oh, okay.
He used to
Guru.
play with Roy Ayers' guitar player.
Yeah.
We
you know
took
what
What was
I'm
his
saying?
name?
some pictures with
Roy
him.
Ayers, honorable mention, and then last
What's
but
that
not
last
Good
album
boy.
he came
Yeah, I
out
know. I think
Oh, yeah.
Good guitar player.
I know. That's
Yeah,
great.
That is good a person.
No.
my last honorable mention, and Carvel and Brother Marcus, I know you guys can attest with me because I've actually heard him play, but Rafiq.
Oh yeah.
Shouts out
That's my
Rafiq,
boy.
man. You know,
Yeah,
hey,
Rafiq.
we're gonna put you up in there,
Yeah,
you know,
man.
and we're gonna put Carvel up in there too. I haven't heard
Absolutely.
him yet, but if you guys have played together on any level, I'm sure you're good just as well.
I want to give.
He
an
plays
honorable
like he
mention
is.
out. I want to
What
give
do
an
you need to
honorable
know?
mention out to a cat who I met in Washington who was down with the jazz,
Oh.
and you know he came out. He did a couple songs. His name's Carl Bowie Joyner. Carl Joyner out of Washington. He's a really cool cat. If you guys ever get a chance to look him up, definitely look him up. He's a bass player and a singer, and he plays the keys. So you know what I mean. Just to throw a name out there that's not really known too much, but he's definitely up there.
All right, man. That's what it is, man. That's our top 5. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We haven't done it yet. Our top 5 jazz artists. You know,
Man, every time you come to a hip hop session, people talk about Mel Torme, you know?
every single time, right?
Every time, yeah.
Wow.
But man, we're gonna end this podcast, and what we usually do is, especially with our guests, and we'll start either way, whoever wants to go first. But of our guests, just last words. We'll go around the circle and give our last words before we end this podcast. Whoever wants to start it off.
I'll go. Hey, man, peace and blessings to you all, man. I enjoyed myself, brother, and I enjoy what you all are doing. Love the knowledge, man, and just good people and putting real information out, like you say, just getting it out there, and just such cool people, man.
Appreciate
you can't
it,
ask
brother.
for more than that. Peace,
Appreciate that.
What's
Appreciate
up?
that.
Respect.
Mr. Lee.
Oh,
Vouch.
well, thank you once again for the hospitality. Much appreciated. UNITY. Oh, but, no. UNITY. Thank you.
Yes.
Shout out to Queen Latifah.
Absolutely.
Mad Verbals, Mad Scientist, your last words. Okay, we're gonna leave him last, like you like to go last. So we'll go back around the circle. Go ahead, Mr.
So we're going to
Compton.
All right. So I just want to thank you, for being able to be on the podcast. You know what I mean? I want to give you guys a shout out. You know what I mean? All you people out there listening. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have an audience. So, just thank you for very much. And I just want to give a shout out again to Artists United to End Homelessness. You know what I mean? Definitely them. And and just keep fighting against homelessness. You know what I mean? It's a matter that's worth fighting for. And if you guys really take it seriously, you'll get involved somehow, some way. Whether it be your voice or whether it be your actions, just get involved, man. That's all I gotta say. God bless.
That's what it is, man. This is Redbeard the Feared One. Those who despise are the ones who hide from the sun.
Son.
You know what I'm saying? We bring the truth and the light.
The light.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta give it up to, my creator, you know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, you know what I'm saying? Without
Ja.
all blessings due, you know what I'm saying? All praise and glory. Without him, nothing would be possible, in my opinion. But this is Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast, episode 28. You know what I'm saying? 28, you know what I'm saying? The Do Say Block, you know, positive-minded apparel, hip-hop for the people, you know what I'm saying? HIP, you know, without hip-hop, without the people, there would be no hip-hop. That's our opinion, you know what I'm saying? So be looking out for all the things coming, and, you know, that's what it is, man. Black and Brown Movement Radio Podcast, and I'm out. Matt Verbal.
You know, my final words for the evening is be humble.
Sit down.
Be humble.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you wake up tomorrow, make sure you smile, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Follow me, Mad Rovers 1 on Instagram. I give you some daily inspiration to be joyous and appreciate life. The joy of life is life itself. Remember that. Spread love tomorrow when you get out there in the world. Touch somebody else. You might save their life. You never know.
Give him a hug.
Yeah.
That too
You know.
increases life.
Okay.
Lowers your blood pressure.
That's what it
Okay.
is, man.
Yes.
So here it is, the 11 o'clock hour on the dot. We're about to end this podcast, and like we do every time, what do we say, my brothers? It's what? One love.